Wanted to share with more the concept of performance-based pay and trying to hammer that out a little bit and to present something to you that shared with staff at staff meetings over the course of the past 10 days to 2 weeks now. And that handout is in your packet. Basically, it looks at doing performance-based pay with all staff in the district. That would be classified, certified, and administrative. It would be based on a yearly evaluation, looking at 4 levels for certified and administrative staff. We're still trying to develop all the criteria for the classified staff, but basically looking at 1 of 4 ratings: accomplished, skilled, developing, or ineffective, and then a percentage increase based on that, with accomplished being the highest, skilled being just a little bit below that, and developing obviously a little below that. If you get the ineffective rating, that there would not be a performance-based pay added to the salary. Looking at a possible appeal to that, if there's a concern that something was not handled correctly with the evaluation, to meet with your supervisor as well as the next level up, which would typically be Dr. Kumpf or myself, or Mr. Pfister, possibly with classified staff. So that part in place. Couple things to look at, trying to add some safe harbor, if you will, a term we're hearing more and more lately. For certified staff, a teacher new to the profession, it would be very difficult to expect them to be in a first year and come in with an accomplished rating. Could happen, but more likely they have some seasoning yet to do and some learning to do, that they would have an opportunity in the first 2 years to score 1 level higher than where their evaluation would come in. So if they come in at the developing rate or developing on their evaluation, that we would look at bumping them up to the skilled pay during that 2-year period of time. Classified staff or administrative, basically 1 year. That obviously there's a little bit more of a need. Not that teachers don't need to hit the ground running, but again, administrators, obviously that level is again where we would expect that they're going to pick up very, very quickly in being able to move forward with that. Let's see, trying to see if I'm missing anything. Teachers or the certified staff, with our evaluation policy, and that would be based on the 50% of the OTES that is done by the evaluator, has nothing to do with student scores. It is totally based on the professional side of their evaluation. That would be done by their supervisor and their supervisor only as far as the starting of that process. But once they receive a rating, for example, if they're accomplished, per our policy, they have a 2-year period beyond that where they don't have to do a full-blown evaluation. So we would look at using SMART goals and continuing a level of the professional side of that evaluation to allow them, again, to be able to have that yearly evaluation. And it would also, again, tie in with the SMART goals and an ability to move up. So example, if they had skilled, that they could move up to the accomplished rate, again, pending that evaluation. So I present that to you, and an opportunity maybe to ask some questions. I've asked for a recommendation, or I'm making a recommendation a little later in the meeting, to put this in pending the passage of the levy, as would like to start this next year with the passage of the levy. Without the passage of the levy, I think we would still have some, there's still a possibility of doing that, but I think, again, we would want to evaluate and make sure that that is absolutely the right step that we would want to move forward with. But pending the passage of the levy, a little later on, I've asked for a vote on that issue. So, any questions or anything I can answer with that part?
Would this become part of the evaluation policy? Or how, I mean, what's the, where does this fit in?
This really fits in. This really fits in with just the compensation piece. The evaluation policies would really stay the same. This would be kind of a layer that would be only for the compensation piece, because the evaluation policy is still in place in terms of a full-blown cycle for a teacher would happen, again, depending on where they scored the year previous, but that would include what is there in our current policy with OTES. The same would be true with administrators who are evaluated fully every year.
Right, but isn't there, it seems like at the end of the policy, we have a paragraph that says something about compensation and da-da-da-da-da. So that's why I'm curious, is that where you see this falling in, or you see this as something separate? Because I'd have to go back and pull out the document, but I'm pretty sure the end of that policy, we talk about compensation, and it sort of, in a, I don't want to say a loose fashion, but we stated it in a broad enough terms that, because we knew we were going to come back and sort of fill in the blank later. So is this what you envision filling in the blank or not?
Again, I don't have the same recollection. I'm not disagreeing. I just don't remember that being a part of the end of that. But it can either fill in that gap if it ties in and it's there. I don't remember that being a part of the final piece of that. But if it is, this to me would be something that would tie right in with that. But it could also be a standalone. Just would have to look and see where exactly it fits in. This was, again, after working with the compensation committee, who was not for performance-based pay, that this became kind of more of, I would say, an administratively driven piece. But we did take the input of that committee and tried to come up with things that fit. For example, the SMART goals was definitely a piece that came out of that, and trying to tie that piece in. So that, again, became the impetus for this.
Well, I guess from my perspective, I'd like to go back and look at that now that we've got something, kind of in writing.
Okay.
To go back and see, until you started talking about it, I hadn't thought of that, but as you were talking about part of the OTES, I'm like, whoa, wait a minute, I think we do have a sort of a caveat for that at the end of that policy.
Sure. We can either take a break and I can go get that, or I can ask Dr. Kemp to go pull that policy.
Yeah, we can find a policy, see what it says. Can we grab that somewhere?
Yeah. Pull that, I can continue on.
Yeah, we just need to take a look and see what that says. I don't remember that either, but it easily could be there.
It's actually, when Dr. Kump does her part, I'll
Yeah,
pull it up.
yeah, that sounds
Okay.
that sounds good.
Because I know exactly where it's at.
Okay.
Easy enough for me to print out.
All right.
All right. Mrs. Spring, I took a quick, as I was trying to print the copy. Did you find it in there? I just did.
What I was thinking about is on page 12, under retention and promotion, where we added in retention and promotion will be based on teacher performance. Teachers are maintaining a rating of developing and above may be recommended for the next level contract status retention. In terms of promotion, a differentiated compensation committee will be formed to develop a plan for promotion or advancement in pay.
Yeah, that's, again, what the compensation committee was, but do you see that as meaning that what came out of that development should fit in here?
That's my question. Is that?
I don't think we're not really looking at it in terms of retention. And in terms of promotion, I guess you could say it would be a piece of it that could fit there, but I don't know that I see it being tied to the full evaluation piece, because we're only really looking at the 50% from the professional side. So I guess I would see it as more of a standalone, that we would continue to tweak as we see necessary, that wouldn't per se tie into the full-blown OTES evaluation.